Andre!
Hey, I'm here.
Welcome to the Vibelytical Pop-up, where we don't have topics. We talk about the first thing that pops up. Please remember to like, share, and comment. And there's Dabu making a guest appearance. Actually, hold up. That's Paul. That's Paul.
Yeah, I was like, that look like Paul. Hey,
Yeah,
Paul.
I couldn't tell his color from the camera, but yeah. So, Andre, what's popping?
So, like I told you earlier on our wonderful Biblical page, I am looking forward to popping up with you and having a conversation just about different things that are going on in the world. You know, what I want to say is that due to recent times that we're in, and due to just life in general, you know, Brandon and I have been talking about just doing pop-ups. And what we like to do in pop-ups is just talk about things that are going on currently, how you all are doing. We would like to thank you all for your support.
Definitely, yes, thank you.
The thing is that this page is very new. It's not even a week old yet, and we have seen a really large number of folks coming on board and following our page. So we want to thank you for that. When we do a pop-up, it's just to talk about anything that comes to mind. And what I have discussed with Brandon is that for the majority of the pop-ups that we're going to be doing, we are going to bring a special guest on Brandon's side of friends or on my side of friends, and even family, because there may be some family members of ours that we may bring on as guests. So if you do want to come on, like if we're on live even during a pop-up, or even when we do have a topic on our Sundays, depending on like where we are with our topic and all that, and how Brandon and I are feeling, we'll definitely ask who wants to come on while they're watching the live, and we'll send you the link. And what'll happen is you'll go to a backstage of the StreamYard. So shout out to StreamYard for having this look that you all are seeing. So shout out to StreamYard. Thank you so much. But once we send you the link, you're not going to pop up on the live. You will go backstage, and you'll get your camera angles correct and all that. And then Brandon will be bringing you on when you're ready. So that is kind of how we're going to be doing it. We do have a special guest coming on. She's coming on at around 7:45. My amazing, beautiful friend, Starsha. She's coming on later on. She's going to be our very first guest. Sammy was our first guest. So
Sammy was our first
Sammy
guest.
like that. But as far as a featured guest, we're bringing on Starsha, and we're just going to be talking. And I told her we're not going to be interviewing her. We ain't going to be asking her no interview questions like to interrogate her. We're just going to be asking her how things are going for her, and like what topics have come to mind for her. So so we're just here just to converse with you all and see how you all are doing. Since I'm the one talking now, I want to go ahead and discuss something that's on my heart. Something that's been on my mind for a while. And I want to talk about, I'm pretty sure you all have heard about what happened recently in reference to the individuals that were in Boulder, Colorado. It was 10 individuals that were killed in a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. I want to say we want to send our condolences to the families and friends of those individuals that died, or that were murdered. I'll say murdered. They were murdered in the grocery store, just trying to get some groceries. It just saddens me, because these actions are actions that really don't surprise me at this point. I feel so terrible to say that. I can say that a lot of us are just immune, even though it's very sad in the moment. It's like we go on about our lives, and it's kind of like almost the norm to hear about a shooting. And I mean, I know I may sound weird for saying that, but there's been so many just crazy things going on in the world. It's just, I hope we're not going to be getting to a place where these things are normalized, where people are just marching into places and shooting people down. Just the week before this, Asian individuals were killed because the killer just was having a bad day. He just felt the need to kill some people. So I just wanted to send my condolences to the victims of that. And it was just very sad. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Brandon?
I want to send them grace and peace. And I think that if you don't have a relationship with the Most High, we always want to encourage you to do that and to connect with our God, our Creator. And I say that for those people who also don't believe, but He's still our Creator. And I just think that to take a moment and pause and to make sure that we don't normalize those things, because that's not normal. And I think, it's time for America as a nation. We don't hold back on the Vibelytical show, definitely when we do topics, and we definitely don't hold back on the pop-ups. And what I would say is I think it's time that our nation tells the truth about our history. We have to deal with white supremacy. White supremacy is the danger. Um, Recently, we're Andre and I are in the military, and they did extremism training, and I was a bit disappointed. And I was disappointed because the example, at least the training that I received, the example was of a Muslim extremist. But the very reason on why we were having the training was because of what happened with the Capitol riots and white supremacist extremism. And so to not really go after that and talk about that, to me, was kind of disappointing. To continue with the idea that only Muslim extremists are terrorists. And to give a little bit more insight on that, AOC kind of brought it out. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez kind of brought it out on the congressional floor when they were talking about the definition of domestic terrorism. And when a person is brown or Muslim, the definition fits. However, in our government, there does not exist a definition of domestic terrorism when that person's skin color is white. And you can Google it, you can YouTube it. It's on video, and that is where we stand. And I think, with the Vibelytical Show, we always desire to uplift and edify. And I think that even when we're talking about something negative such as this, it's time to remind us for us to not normalize this kind of behavior. Having a bad day and going and killing 10 people, or was it 8? It was 10 in Colorado and
It was
8
10 in
in Atlanta.
Colorado and 8, so 6 Asian Americans and then 2 white Americans. That
Okay.
makes it the 8. Mhm.
Okay. Yes, and I just think it's time for us to not normalize or to, and I think for those people who are really connected to the Most High, I'll say it like this too. Like, I'm not part of a church. Andre's not part of a actual going to a building church, but we do pray and we seek the Most High and we submit our lives to Him. And I would say that, you know, living in the world and not of the world is a key factor. There's all this kind of selective outrage and offense, and there's the Graham Allens and the Candace Owens and the right and the left and all this stuff. But it's interesting to me that they always want to keep you emotionally wrapped up, and they say, like, where's the outrage? For the ten people who were murdered in Colorado, because all those 10 people were white. And they act like there's no outrage or no mourning for the loss of those 10 lives. But that's not me. That's not a reflection of how I feel about those lost 10 lives. It's almost like, the Graham Allens and the Candace Owens are saying that, that's the whole reason on why Black Lives Matter or Stop Asian Hate or whatever the hashtag is right now. That's the reason why it exists. Because why does there have to be this comparison of or selective outrage? I mean, if you should feel how you want to feel. And I think as a human, on this show, we always want to reinforce empathy.
And for those that are in here right now, if you would love to comment, you're more than welcome to comment. I will be reading the comments out loud. But yeah, we would love to hear your perspective on the topics that we discussed, to get your take as well. So for those of you that are on, thank you once again. We thank you for coming on to the show, because your support means a lot to us. I mean, this is a vision that we've had over the last year. So for us to now have a page now and for us to be engaging with one another, this is just something that I feel is just going to continue to uplift and edify. But at the
Right.
same time, I feel that it's also going to be a way for attention to be brought to very important topics.
Yes.
And it's okay to have a perspective. It's okay to speak your piece. We're not a show that is going to be disrespecting people or talking out of people's name and all that stuff. It's just, this show is basically to speak our minds, speak from the heart, and just speak on topics. Well, for the pop-ups in particular, just talk about different things. So in the next few minutes, we're going to be bringing on Starsha. I don't know if Starsha's backstage right now, but I'm going to be reaching out to her to see if she's ready to get on the link to come onto the show. But another topic I kind of wanted to discuss. Oh, Brandon, you sent a message to Atiba. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so another topic I wanted to discuss was Sharon Osbourne. And so I'm not sure for the folks that are watching, not sure if you saw me talk about Sharon Osbourne in the last episode, which was on Sunday. But an update to that information, Sharon Osbourne, well, before I get into the update, Sharon Osbourne made some racially insensitive comments on the talk with Cheryl Underwood, and the whole show is being placed on. Well, I'm not even going to say the whole show. The cast is under investigation in reference to the comments that Sharon has made on the show currently and in the past. So they're looking into the whole thing with Sharon Osbourne, and CBS has released statements saying that they are all about inclusivity and all that. That they have no tolerance for discrimination of any kind. So Sharon Osbourne has the update is that Sharon Osbourne has hired a lawyer to speak to the producers and executive producers of CBS to receive a large settlement, basically for millions of dollars, for her to have a quiet exit. So according, that came from. I may have said it kind of shady, but anyway. But yeah, this comes from B. Scott. So shout out to B. Scott. He is a celebrity blogger. B. Scott is probably one of the best Black entertainment celebrity bloggers that really does give concrete information. He has very good sources. So shout out to B. Scott for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me reach out to Starsha. But what do you see? What do you feel about that, Brandon? As I reach out to Starsha.
So I watched the clip. I don't really watch the talk, but since it was in the news, I kind of watched it. And shout out to comedian Godfrey. I think he's hilarious. He likes to cover a lot of these things and bring comedy to it, but also truth to it. When I watched the situation go down, I felt like Sharon was very disrespectful to her friend Cheryl. And it just was unnecessary for her to address her like that. And I think, personally, like Andre, I shared with you today, I think I was, I'm like, this was, in my opinion, this is Sharon Osbourne's retirement plan. I would never talk to you that way as my friend. And I just think it was very uncalled for her to address that when the comments and the things that were being said on the talk were not even directed at Sharon, but she made herself a victim in the situation, and now the whole show is not on. I also think CBS could do a lot better too, because to me, it sends mixed messages that you stop the whole show. The whole show is suspended. It's called The Talk. You should be able to go on the next day and air out, whatever the situation is, and fix those.
Huh? Right, and investigations can be done internally without having to go on hiatus.
Without putting the show on suspension, because to me, my perception is like the way that it went down. Cheryl was very respectful of Sharon. Everyone was very respectful of Sharon, and it kind of just seemed like, based on that, what does the investigation need to find out? Because we saw everything.
Right.
It happened live on air.
It did. Well, Starsha's ready. So can you see Starsha backstage?
Yeah, I do see her.
So she said she's ready. Starsha!
Hey.
So I want to give a special shout out to my wonderful, beautiful, amazing friend Starsha. So we would love to welcome her. As
yes, and Starsha will have to unmute.
Oh, you have to unmute, Starsha, so we can hear you.
Hi.
Hi.
The 25 Bravo with technical difficulties.
But yeah, so as I was saying, I want to give a special shout out to my amazing, beautiful friend Starsha. Thank you so much for coming on. You are our first
guest. Inviting me.
Yeah.
So special. I'm your first guest.
I mean, Starsha, we've already talked offline and everything like that, and we kind of catch up a lot. But how are you? How's everything going, girl?
I am good, ready to leave Fort Gordon per usual, like I usually tell you when we talk. But I've got a few more years to go, and then I'm out of here. Hopefully we can link up in DC and party like we did in Kuwait. You know how we get down.
Starsha was my girl. Like, I welcomed her to Kuwait. You know, I was the S1 for so I think I was the first person she really saw.
Yeah.
So I processed her to Kuwait. And
listen, I called him Specialist Brooks. He got me together real quick. He was like, excuse me, I'm a sergeant now. I was like, oh, okay.
Come correct now. Yeah, I mean, just fun times. I mean, we have so many memories of times in Kuwait and the laughter and the going to the what was the place in the, what would we call it when we would go out? I can't. It was in there we go. Yeah. So a little thing about me, Brandon, that you don't know is that I was in the Outserve network. So we would have Sunday Fun Day, and I was the president of the Outserve network in Kuwait. So I was actually group leader in Kuwait. So I would hold all these weekly Sunday Fun Days, and Starsha would be my +1 on several of those Sundays, and just be there. We would just have talks about, and what's so interesting about the Outserve at that time is it just came out that same year that a few months after that, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. So we talked a lot about that and about how exciting it was to just be out. So yeah, so Starsha has been an ally, and you know, so you know, I love
Thank you, Starsha. Yeah.
So girl, what else has been going on? How's work? I mean, I know work is, you said work has been getting on your nerves, but
yes, it's work. You know, dealing with the AIT population is very different from dealing with NCOs because they think they know everything and they think they're smarter than us. I'm like, boo, I was a private. You think I just woke up assigned first class? Like, I did the same stuff y'all trying to do, but we did it better because y'all get caught. We ain't get caught. We did our little sneak stuff, and then we brought it back to the barracks and we chilled. You know, they still want to cut up. It's a mess, but you know, you live and learn, and hopefully they're learning something from us. But it's a struggle. It is definitely a struggle. So, but yeah, that's about it. It's dry down here. COVID has shut everything down. I mean, they're slowly letting us down. We can go to restaurants now, but it's height and weight season. Don't nobody be trying to eat all the time. Like, we can't be doing that. So, yeah, that's it. You know, I don't do nothing.
How's the hubby doing?
He is good. I just shooed him out. He was like, I want to get on and see. I want to see Andre. I was like, no. No.
Wait, you had a question for Starsha, Brandon?
How you know? How you know?
Oh,
because I saw your mouth about to move, and then I asked a question. So my bad.
Well, I was just going to ask, like, you know, if you want to, if it's appropriate, like maybe to go, like maybe a little deeper into the difficulties of, like, I don't know, emotional intelligence, like, or like the challenges of the trainees. I mean, majority of them are probably younger, but I'm sure you have some middle-aged people too. Like, what are you seeing within the realm of the things that's going on in society? Like, we just had the Capitol riots. You know, White supremacy is clearly an issue. The Army's going, like the Army with sexual assault. I just watched that hearing, the congressional hearing, and it is a lot worse than I could imagine. Senior leaders, you know, are largely responsible and grossly negligent right now. And that's what was testified in Congress. It's not my words. I'm not bad mouthing the Army. But like, could you talk a little bit about, because like that's the kind of stuff we talk about on our show, you know, emotional intelligence. We want to uplift and edify, but we also want to bring awareness and truth. And, you know, maybe you will say something that will reach, you know, the members of our audience.
So we actually, we just had, they don't call it a safety stand down. It's like professional week or something like that. And Friday we had to go over extremist situations. We went over Sharp and we went over VA. And I thought at first I was a little like, I don't really know, because we're not trained victim advocates, and we're not trained assist as far as suicide. That's usually the chaplains and chaplain assistants that work on that. But I was actually interested to see a lot of our students interacting, and they were actually really into it. And I didn't think they were going to do it. I didn't think they were going to want to participate, because you see it all the time. And basically they're stuck in the barracks. They can't really go anywhere because COVID's really bad down here. But they were really into it. And I know in one of the classrooms, so every classroom had, you know, like almost 24 students in it. And they were discussing, and one of the students actually said, well, you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, they're very toxic, and, you know, they do this and they do the riots and all that. And it was interesting because someone else was like, you know, if you look at the history of Black Lives Matter, they will tell you that's not what we're about. We're not about violence and things like that. And the guy was like shocked. He was like, really? Because when you see on TV, this is what they're doing. And they were like, no, they're actually not a part of Black Lives Matter. These are people who are doing these things to make Black Lives Matter look bad. And so that was a really good discussion. And then we had Sharp, which is the sexual assault. And a few students, the main concern I had with that is, of course, we're not trained in it. You know, we have people who go to school to get trained to deal with stuff like that. But a lot of the students were open. They didn't mind discussing it. We had few that, you know, didn't really want to talk about it. And we gave them that option, you know, if you're not ready, then you're not ready. So you know, they could leave. But we try to tell them there's a lot of students that go to behavioral health here. And we try to tell them, you know, I know your world seems like it's closing in because you're stuck, you know, they can't go off base, they can't go to the PX. They're basically the DFAC school and then back to the barracks for now until, you know, COVID is a little bit better. And it's depressing. It's depressing, just like with us, you know. I'm married and my child, she doesn't give me free time. But some soldiers, you know, they're single, they're living by themselves, and you're on lockdown. It's depressing. So we try to tell them, you know,
people.
Huh?
I mean, I ain't no private.
Yeah. But I don't think people think about that. And I think suicide rates are actually going up because of COVID and because people are locked in. They don't have an outlet to, you know, be around their friends. You can't go around your family. So we try to tell them, don't let this one little thing build up too much. And it's okay to talk to people. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to behavioral health, you got the chaplain, you got senior NCOs that you feel like you can trust, and we'll listen to you. You know, we'll make that time. So things like that. But the students, they get on my nerves, but they're also the best part of my day. I mean, any given day, I spent 30 minutes downstairs laughing with this student today. So it has its ups and downs being in the TRADOC world. Yeah, so it's not
Thank
too
you.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, speaking for me, like I'm in a TRADOC unit as well, but I'm dealing with cadets. So speaking to cadets and cadets that file, because I've had 4 cadets to file an EO complaint, and all they want is to be heard. Like they just want their to be heard, and they want someone that shows that they care because they feel like they're alone. There's just been this trend of race and sex discrimination. That's some of the biggest trends that we're seeing in the EO office is sex discrimination and race discrimination. So kind of like what Starsha said with the students, you know, they're a lot of them are young, a lot of them are fresh out of high school, and the cadets are fresh out of high school too. A lot of them where they're just starting their life, and they want to be, their voices want to be heard. So I think it's very imperative that us as senior leaders are there for them and are approachable, and have that way of saying like, if you need anything, I'm here. Like don't think that you're alone, because
that is what you just said is like spot on, because I see so many students and we'll stop and talk to them and they're like shaking. I'm like, listen, baby, I'm not a drill sergeant. Like I'm just new, you know, and I don't think you need to be scared to talk to somebody just because they have a little more rank than you doesn't mean we're still people, you know. Some people are a little extra, but you know, you should never be scared to talk to your NCO about anything. You know, you have to find somebody because, you know, everybody needed somebody. I had somebody when I was, you know, E4 and below, and you just have to find that person that you feel like you can trust.
Right. I want to say hey to Andrea and Colin. I see they came on. I want to ignore y'all. How y'all doing? But yeah, I just wanted to. I'm glad you brought up about the whole us as leaders being there, because I mean, what's interesting about that is that like when I talk to a soldier, and I've even talked to a couple of the cadets, is that like our stories are similar. You're over there thinking that you may be the only person feeling lonely or feeling like there's no one that you can talk to. I live alone. So actually we're more alike than different. And I think that's what eases these soldiers and these cadets. And they're like, well, dang, I'm not alone. Like, okay, then you're actually going through some of the similar things that I'm going through. And you a whole class. It does not matter about my rank.
Right.
It does not matter at all that I've been NCO. Like my story may be way more similar than you think. So yeah, I think that's powerful. And what I'll add to that is I feel that in this time, and Brandon and I have been talking about this for a long time, Starsha, like it's very important that we all have a relationship with God, a relationship with the Most High, because I feel that in order to make it, in order to push through this pandemic and be resilient, it's important, you know, and it's hard saying those things, for me to say those things, because I know that there are a lot of people that may be atheists. There's a lot of people that are agnostic, that don't believe in God. But I feel that I feel it's important to say that, because for me, speaking for self, it's important to say that, because I feel that that's one of the key reasons why during this pandemic I have been good. I have not been in a depressive state, fortunately, because I have been seeking God, and I've been saying, okay, I'm going to push through this, and I'm going to be resilient. Resilient is key. And I feel that that's what I've been doing, and I know that Brandon has been doing it as well. So, you know, yeah.
Jacqueline, he's so freaking awesome. He actually just had like a little luncheon for the instructors, because sometimes I think down in TRADOC, the instructors get kind of lost. You know, everything is about the students and or the drill sergeants. And so he just wanted to do something specifically for us. So he brought us panda. You know, everybody loves a good panda now. Especially my green hat. But yeah, he
that
did
orange chicken, Your Honor.
listen, it's everything. But he prayed with us, and we went over some scriptures, and he said that he's going to start doing this regularly. Hopefully, he'll do it monthly. I don't know if the chaplain court can afford to buy us panda every single time, but I think it is a good thing to do it because he does it with the students. Also, he'll bring them in at lunchtime. They'll pray. They'll eat and just have a good time with him.
Yeah. I want to highlight something. Like I think I agree with everything Andre said. I moved in the pandemic from Joint Base Lewis McCoy, which is in Washington State, to Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, which is, Maryland.
We're almost going to be together. I was on assignment to go to Aberdeen. Somehow that changed, but that's Branch. Never mind.
Oh. Yes, you would have been. See, you would have been here.
Yeah.
But so and I also filed for divorce in the pandemic, and it was necessary. Though divorce can lead people in all type of different ways, and I just allowed the Most High to literally carry me through. And I had a vision, and in the vision, the Most High was carrying me. I was in His arms, and we were walking through a field. And then we got to this point and He turned around and I could see where what we had walked from the area. And it was like a minefield. And it was just in grief, when people go through tough emotional things, there's sex addiction, drug addiction, all these other pitfalls that people fall into when they're going through grief. But it was the Most High carried me through it. So I didn't hit none of those things.
Yeah.
And when this is the first time when I said that I thought about where were my eyes during the time in which He was carrying me? Maybe my eyes were closed or my eyes were on Him as He was carrying me. I don't know, but I would say that resiliency is definitely a choice. And resiliency, I think for me, the way that I maintain it is by controlling the things that I can control.
Exactly.
And choosing to, and on top of that, those things that you can't control oftentimes are the most frustrating things. But when that happens, I just choose to be grateful for my life and grateful for health. And I just go down the list, and you start to be grateful or be thankful for things, and your whole countenance is going to change. It has to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, we focus too much on the negative that we don't see the positive. Because like you, I had to move during the pandemic, and it was not by choice because my landlord decided he wanted to just say, nah, you got to go. I'm like, okay, well, let me try to find a house in this horrible, it's not a buyer's market at all. And, but I thought about it. I said, you know what? This gives me an opportunity to get something of my own, something that will only appreciate. And so let me not focus on the negative that this man decided to sell his house in December, right before my baby's 6th birthday, right before Christmas. I was livid, I was heated. But now I'm here, and everything is good. But it just everybody doesn't know how to deal with that. And I think that's another thing that we have issues with the soldiers. They only can focus on this negative because they have family members who have COVID, who have cancer, who are committing suicide or car crashes, and they only can focus on that. They don't see the positive of they're not here anymore, but at least I got that time with them. And I'm still here, so I can spread word about how great of a person they were.
Right.
Some people can get over that, and some people can't. And I've seen a lot of soldiers that they just can't get over, and they end up getting captured and go right back to the place where they didn't want to be. That's the reason they joined the Army. So it's something that I hope that with the resiliency training that we do every quarter, that eventually it'll get through to them, and it'll touch them in the right place to get their mental back on track.
Yeah.
And I can talk for hours and hours and hours on the resiliency piece, because I feel like as far as how my life has been, I feel like I am probably one of the most resilient people out there due to my childhood being tragic, with losing both of my parents at a young age, from having my sister raise me, to now sister and brother-in-law raising me, to me joining the military and then being called faggot in basic and AIT, to just, I mean, I'm talking about this, the list goes on about all the tumultuous things that I faced. And for me to be sitting here on live just as happy as could be. I mean, I am. I mean, essentially I am. And I just feel that a lot of that had to do with me being resilient and seeking the Most High for that clarity and hunting the good stuff, which is an MRT. But hunting the good stuff and saying, okay, I went through all of that, but I'm still breathing. Like what Starsha said, I'm still here. Let me go ahead and celebrate the life that I had with that family, or celebrate the life that I did have. And that's what I do. I have moments where I think about my mom saying, there's a term she says, I haven't told y'all this. Anytime I do something goofy, anytime I did something goofy when I was a child, she'll be like, just anything. Just anything. And it's the way she said it, because she's not from the country. She's from California, essentially. And for them to just anything, just get out my face, just anything. And it would just tickle me. And I carry that. I carry that on every birthday. So, but every birthday that she would have had. So, I mean, me being resilient, I can probably teach. I can probably be MRT level 4. I probably should just go all the way to level 4 and be an actual facilitator for MRT and teach as people. But yeah, I definitely believe that my resiliency was led by me being positive and looking for the goodness in the midst of a whole bunch of mess in my life.
You know what? I want to highlight this too. Like, I feel like the pandemic is a gift and a curse, and I think we can choose on which side we're going to be on. And I think the gift is if we want to be understanding and be empathetic, like, we're not the only ones going through it. Everybody is. We're not and in some aspects, that is a gift, even though this is something that's very tragic. And grace and peace to those who have lost their lives, and to those who are mourning the ones that they've lost. And so it's not meant to be insensitive, but it's meant to understand that, like, we're not the only ones. And, you know, the times I didn't believe in mental health until I needed it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't believe in it. Like, but going to a therapist, even through like the divorce, and just having another human regurgitate what I'm saying or help me think about it in a different way, was just like the most powerful thing, you know, somebody can do. And when I think about this pandemic, we're all in it. All of us are in it. So none of us get to feel or should feel like we're alone, because like we're all in it. And I would challenge anyone listening to make yourself friendly, you know, do the thing, like get your good sleep in, you know, take your vitamins, hit the gym. Like, I live in the gym, because like the gym is the club.
I need to go with you.
See, the gym is the club now. Planet Fitness in Aberdeen. The gym is the club now. So like Friday nights, that's where people be at the gym. but you know, just find a way to adjust. And I think it's counterproductive to think about going back to normal. We don't know that. We don't know when that's going to be.
This might be our new normal.
This might be.
That's why I say relative normalcy. It's not going to be normal. I'll be relatively normal. That's the word that I use. For sure.
Because I would say, you know, if for those people, I would wonder, you know, for people who want to go back to the way things were, like, does that mean you're relaxing on your wearing of your mask and washing of your hands and all
Don't get
those
me
basic
started.
things.
Don't get me
Don't get,
started on
don't
that.
get,
I will.
okay. Yeah. But my point is, if we start to try to be all about getting back to the way things were, then maybe we'll be relaxed in and expose ourselves unnecessarily to the virus. Like I go to the gym, but I wear my mask. You know what I'm saying? I might pull it down, take a couple breaths, then put it back up. But I like there's certain things I think you still have to do. Like nobody said you can't go outside. You know what I'm saying? Go outside, get some fresh air, go to the park. I mean, I know your trainees can't do that, but for everyone else who's not a trainee, trying to become a signal soldier, you can go outside, you can go to the gym, you can go to restaurants. I mean, just wear your mask and I think, minimize your exposure to the public and live ultimately like live clean.
Yeah.
The best way you can. And I think that's how, I've been making it outside of, since Andre took my part about all the spiritual stuff. I'm that guy. And I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like I just want those are just some practical things that I think you can do to, make yourself be all right.
Yeah.
Hey, Chandra.
I see her Chandra on. Hey girl. Colin keeps coming in and out. It's like Colin is watching, then he leaves, and then he comes back.
Ooh, why you telling on him?
I know I'm putting Colin out there. I'm sorry, Colin. Colin, like I ain't ever watch your live again. Put me all out. But yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention also was like, what happened to being kind? I mean, I feel like during this pandemic that you would expect, not that it happened, you would expect to be kind because we're all in this struggle together.
Right.
We're all in this pandemic together, but I've just been seeing nothing but mean people. I have lost friends, y'all both know. I have lost friends during this pandemic. Y'all both know who they are. And and it's like, dang, it's all based on the kindness that's in your heart. And it's kind of like, and the selfishness, not even just being mean. It's the being selfish part too. It's all about them thinking about themselves and not the other person. And I've noticed that in recent months. And I'm just like, I'm gonna always remain kind. Even if I don't particularly like you, I'm gonna be kind. I mean, I'll throw shade, but I'll be kind. I'll throw shade. Don't get me wrong, I am a shady, I'm a shady one. But I mean, I just feel if I don't like you enough to be kind to you, then I'll just not talk to you. And I'm quick with cutting folks off. So that happens. So, that's I think it's just too easy. If you know that a relationship has fallen apart, then let it go. Like, don't speak to them anymore. But I feel like the being mean and rude and nasty, I have not understood why it's been heightened since the pandemic, when you would expect folks to kind of come together and say, do you need anything? Like, what can I do for you? Like, I think, like that part, I'm not saying that it's not happening, but it's so far, it's so low. It's a low amount of that happening that, like, honestly, and me and Brandon have talked about this before, Starsha, but people's true colors are coming out during this pandemic.
It took me a very long. My mom always tell me, "Girl, you ain't got no friends. I'm your friend." I'm like, I got some friends. I don't have as many as, because I used to say, "Well, this is my friend so and so," and she'd be like, "That's not your friend. No, that's an associate." But I think a lot of people, they don't change because they don't want to. They've been okay. They've been okay with being nasty, and people have allowed them to be nasty. And I used to be one of those people. I'm still very forgiving, but my cutoff game is strong. And baby,
two queens of cutoff, because
I don't have time. I don't have the time, energy, or patience. You ain't my family member, and even if you're my family member, if you do too much, then I just got to be done with you. Because if it's to the point where I feel like it's a second job to be in your life that I'm not getting paid for, and you're stressing me out, I ain't gonna do it, because I'm trying to keep this good black from cracking, and I ain't got time.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it.
And you're a wife, you're a mom, you know what I'm saying? You deal with people, you got to be present for your trainees.
Yeah.
And
it's too much. Like, I don't understand people who thrive off of someone else's misery. Like, I'm never gonna do that. Now, I'm not gonna let you bring that negativity into my positive world. You know, I've been saying that for years. Go on with that. I don't have time. But I'm not gonna thrive off of your downfall. I just don't want to be bothered with you. And I need you, if I tell you this, I need you to give me that space, because if you don't, then you're going to get what's coming to you. Like, I'm telling you, I'm done. Like, this is it. This is it. Yeah, give me the warning. Okay. If you don't take it, then hey.
And I want to read Hashandra's comment. She said, "Let it go and fly above it." And it's above me now. Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's above me.
It's in my purview. It's
yeah.
Going over my head. I'm not even paying it any mind, and I'm my tolerance level for disrespect and being unkind is over. Like in my, I mean, I'll say in my 20s, I was just begging for acceptance. And I'm like, why am I doing that when I'm being disrespected? And now my eyes have really opened in being in deep into my 30s at this point and saying like, I'm not, I can't be, no, I'm not tolerating this anymore. I'm still going to be the same loving Andre. I'm not changing me, who I am. Right. I'm reprioritizing who's important for my life. And if I have to remove you out of my life to maintain my kindness and my nurturing self, because I know that I'm a nurturing person, I will drop everything. If any one of y'all called me and said, "Hey, Andre, I need to talk to you about something. Do you have a moment?" Y'all know I will drop it. Like, what's up? What's going on? That's just who I am. But in order for me to maintain that, I gotta let that toxic energy go. I gotta let it go. And it's unfortunate.
They take advantage of it, and I don't want to keep giving all of my good stuff to people who don't deserve it. And I did get over thinking that people are going to treat me the same way I treat them. And are going to be there for me like I'm going to be for, because I used to be like, I just don't understand. Like, if you call me, I'm dropping everything for you. But I can't call you if I'm having a bad day and you can't listen because you can't be bothered with it. But yet you dump all of your negativity and all your drama on me. And you know, when you have a bunch of people with that drama and stuff, that absorbs into your soul. And I believe in that kind of stuff, that transfer of emotions. I don't have time for it, you know, all the time. You're always calling me, but I can't get a, "Hey girl, how you doing? Like, how you been?" You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But I don't have time for it.
I would say, you know, as y'all were talking, I was thinking about, you know, this thought, like, preserve your purpose. I think that's really what we're talking about. In order for Andre, for you to maintain being the kind gentleman that you are, you have to preserve your purpose. If you keep giving out, you know, your essence, your spirit, your soul, like, then what are you going to be left with? And then you're going to end up being the bitter person and be, you know, excuse the expression, but left at the altar alone. You know what I'm saying? You done gave all your love away, and you can be left at the altar alone because, you know, and empty. And now, you know, like, and to me, I feel like, can I say this too? As Black people, sometimes that is expected of us.
Yeah.
To always apologize, to always humble ourselves, to always make ourselves second rate.
To dim your light so that theirs can shine.
Yes.
For it. Nope.
Yes, and you have to preserve your purpose. If those people are around you, address it. You know what I'm saying? See if they deserve and to be in your space, because everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. And I think there's one key factor here for me personally that lets me know if somebody's supposed to be in my space. I'm not perfect, so they ain't got to be perfect. But if you don't want to evolve, if you ain't growing, if you're not praying, if you're not kind, if you're not respectful, like the most basic things, you know, because I think that's what this world is changing. How can somebody stay the same?
You better preach over there. There's no
So,
way. Which is why
right.
I said earlier, Brandon and Starsha, that during this pandemic, people have really been exposing who they really are because they are staying stagnant in who they are and not evolving. So while this pandemic has been going on, which I honestly, I'm gonna say this because I don't even think I've said this to you, Brandon. I feel this pandemic was an eye opener from the Most High to say, get y'all act together. Y'all need to be looking out for each other, spread love, and in addition to that, exposing who people really are. I feel like this pandemic, yes, lives have been lost. Rest in peace to all 500,000 plus people that have died from this virus. But I feel that the Most High brought this on as a wake-up call. I mean, just think about the pollution, y'all. Did y'all see New York City like in June, July? The air was clear. Nobody was on the roads. Like small things like nature. Nature was calm. The birds were chilling. There was this, it was just a stillness in the United States between like March and June. It was very quiet because everybody was at home. Like that, I feel like that was really a wake-up call for people to say, you know what, I need to either get my act together or I'm going to reach out and be there for people that are maybe less fortunate. I mean, or emotionally. I'm not talking about just financially, emotionally as well. Like there's people out here hurting. There's people that are millionaires hurting. Celebrities are hurting too. A lot of people think just because that celebrity got money that they good. No, there's celebrities hurting too. So it was a stillness for even the celebrities to sit back and just chill for a moment. It was literally, I feel like it was literally God saying, y'all need to sit down. Sat down, like Medea said, sat down. I'm just saying. That's what I feel that this pandemic has done. But some people have not woken up. Some people are still sitting in their coma and have not woken up. So
it be like this sometimes, you know. Then just know I'm not gonna be there with you.
Right. I'm up.
I'm awake, honey. I'm very awake.
Yes.
But Starsha, we don't want to hold you too long. We'll let you go. Do you have any final words you want to give to the live session?
Just remember that life is short and to love as much as you can, as hard as you can, on as many people as you can. And that's it.
Ooh, short and sweet.
That's it.
I concur with all of it.
Thank you so much for joining us. And Andre, thank you for inviting her. Yes. Nice to meet you, Starsha. I never met you, but it's nice to meet
you. Is stationed in Maryland too. So we're gonna road trip over there.
Okay.
You kind of far.
Kind of far. He's a little bit far.
Yeah, that's a little far. All right, y'all. All right. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a great evening. Bye. Bye.
Oh, I love me some Starsha.
She was excellent. I liked her. I liked her comments. Love as hard as you can on as many people as you can, and remember that life is short.
Life is short. That was that was so palpable. That was so palpable. Life is short, and it kind of sums up what I said about just being kind to one another.
Yeah,
because you just never know. You just never know. You never know when you're going to be in need of someone, or you're going to be in a space where you're going to need to lean on somebody. You know, leaning on the Most High is important, but you know, in order to have that person be there for you, that relationship with the Most High is important. It all coincides with one another. So
and the Most High uses us. He uses people. You know, he uses people to extend grace, His mercy, His salvation. He uses people to do it, and so we are those people that He uses to do it. And I just want to clarify something, like, so people don't just think that you or I or even Starsha just cut people off. It's not just cutting people off, but like we pray about those people who should be in our space. You know, like sometimes you should wrestle with some people because they mean a lot to you. And because maybe you are the extension of the Most High's grace and mercy. Like Moses didn't just abandon Israel. I mean, he probably wanted to. Y'all complaining all the time. Y'all making golden calves and stuff. Y'all trying to, you know what I'm saying? Y'all doing all these, disobedient things. But Moses didn't just abandon Israel.
Yeah.
So there are people that are worth sticking in the fight for. But I think that uh, the other idea I had before preserving your purpose is that, like, this idea about turning the other cheek, which means different things. I don't think it really means what at face value what it means, turning the other cheek. You're not supposed to be nobody's doormat or anything like that, but take the opportunity that you have to teach somebody a lesson, in such a way where they will be able to accept what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to match their negativity. My bad.
No, you're good. I didn't want to cut you off. And one thing I want to add in addition to what you said about being in there being friction in a relationship you have with someone to try to work it out. I can say that that's what I've done in my relationships that I have had to let go. Yeah, maybe saying cut off is too strong of a term to use. I'll just say that I let them go because
No, I think it's.
I mean,
No, I
cut
think
off is the right word, but
Yeah.
but I am saying that before I did cut them off, there was work on my end. I can't speak
Right.
for them. There was work on my end to try to make it work and make it last. But at the end of the day, if it's not meant to last, it won't. So
Yes.
I had to come to grips with that and say, okay, well, it's not gonna last. This is just a seasonal relationship, and it was good while it lasted, but there was an expiration date with that relationship, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And I used to not be okay with it, but now I'm like, hey, I took the good in the bad, and I'm good now, baby.
Right. And we're gonna be all right. And I think it was just Starsha's comment that brought me back to that. Like, we're not just out here cutting people off. Like, we friends one day, we're not friends the next, and just being out here being petty and being messy. No, it's an actual thing about preserving your purpose, preserving your essence, and I think purpose for each human being. In order to find that, I think that's where you find your resiliency is in your purpose, because within your purpose is your identity, and within your identity is your strength, and within your strength is your boldness and not feeling helpless. Because to bring it back full circle, about the sexual assault and this younger generation and the things that are happening and the things that are happening in the military, a lot of people are feeling helpless even with the pandemic. And when you're connected to the Most High, He works all those things out for you and shows you. And on my board back there, you can see it next to the painting, I have the word stratagem, and I pass it every day. And I'm always praying about, okay, what should my strategy be if I have a difficult supervisor or if I have a difficult situation? I go to my ultimate resource, the one who created the heavens and the earth. So, I just really want to encourage, we exist to uplift and edify you. We pray that, you are blessed by something that somebody said. And, I think preserving your purpose is something that's very important to do. And when you do that, I think you have no choice but to be resilient, because you'll make all the decisions that are necessary to preserve your purpose.
I love it. I mean, that's so good, and yeah, I appreciate that. We appreciate the interactions from you all too that are also watching, because I've said this so many times before on our previous shows that any interaction we get from the in the comment section will reinvigorate us and have us respond to those things and provide a different perspective. Like, different perspectives from all of you all is what we appreciate. But yeah, this was literally just a Vibelytical pop-up. This was just to say hello to you all, see how you all were doing. And we brought Starsha on as our special guest, and our first guest, to just kind of shed light on how she's doing in her life. And she actually gave us some really good perspective as well on, and that closing remark she gave was just so powerful, because it really, life is short. I mean, that is something that is said a lot, in conversation, but life really is short. Like, it really is short. And in this life that we live, we just have to ensure that we're doing our part by being a good Samaritan, not only to people, but to ourselves. Because in order for us to treat people with dignity and respect, we got to love on ourselves first. I feel like that is truly key. If you don't love yourself, then how you gonna love somebody else? And that from the words,
RuPaul.
shout out to Ruth. So yeah, like it was just that was a very, very good pop-up. Like this was a really good pop-up. The intent is for us to do these pop-ups on a Thursday evening. And we won't have a topic. And then on Sundays we will have a topic. So hopefully you all like, comment, and share this. And also please be on the lookout for Sunday's episode, Coping with Hardships. That is a topic that I'm looking forward to discussing with you all and getting your feedback on. But yeah, I am excited about Sunday's episode. I'm excited we got our page and we're able to really, and shout out to Brandon, because I told Brandon I was going to give him a shout out because Brandon be coming up with the graphics. He put up this graphic that y'all looking at right now. So shout out to Brandon. For the graphics and the visual that you all are seeing. And even when it comes to the graphics for the topics that we will be discussing, that all came from Brandon, okay? I'm over here just like, okay, so just shout out to Brandon for that. And yeah, and I
got to give one back.
Okay.
I got to give one back. Shout out to Andre, who comes up with the topics and leads us on, these academic and deep dives on, the different issues. And what I didn't realize is tonight is we all in the same vibe, kind of. Because think about the pop-up we just had with Starsha. I don't even know that we was really talking about coping with hardships to a degree. And I know we're going to do a deep dive and you're going to bring some academia up in there. But did you even realize that we was talking about coping with hardships?
I didn't. We talked about the pandemic, and that's a hardship that
the
whole world is enduring, is the pandemic. I mean, I even brought up celebrities in the pandemic. That everybody's struggling. It doesn't matter where you sit as a public figure or if you're just an ordinary person. This is the pandemic that's the same for all of us.
Yeah.
We're all experiencing the very same thing. We're not living the normal life that we lived prior to March of 2020. So, but yeah, we definitely, Brandon, thanks for saying that, because we definitely delved into how to cope with hardships. But but like you said, I am going to provide that academia from the experts on hardships, the experts on the mental awareness when it comes to hardships. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you all on Sunday. And of course, Brandon does his spiritual spin on it, which we definitely need that balance of the academia and then the spiritual side of how to deal with these hardships and seeking the Most High and all those answers and those scriptures that I know that he'll provide. So, I mean, that is the balance of this show, is to provide that academia for you all and to also provide that the spiritual aspect of these topics too. And I think that's what helps us continue to do this show and to thrive. Because like I said, Brandon and I have been just so touched by the amount of follows we've received.
Yes, thank you all so much for liking, following, commenting, sharing, all of that. Thank you so much.
And it means a lot to us. Like we talk about it offline all the time. I mean, Brandon and I have only been knowing each other for a year and almost a month. So it's a short time that we've known each other, but we have really garnered such a strong bond over this time. So it was just, and we went to EO school together. So so I'm just thankful for him. And yeah, we are gonna be, you're gonna see us a lot more. So we ain't gonna go on these long hiatuses and all that. You're gonna see us a little bit more often than the norm, because we did take a little bit of a break over some time.
Yeah,
due to life.
And I would say this too, just as one last thing, and that is the beauty, I think, of this show and of us doing this show is that we're experiencing it with you. Andre and I, we don't share. All we share is the topic, and then we go from there, and we somehow always connect, and that's what works for us. But more so than that, we're also living out the things that we talk about. We're practicing what we preach, and we're bringing to you, how we're living. And I think that's, my mom always says, what comes from the heart goes to the heart. And so, that is my prayer about what we're doing. And that was my vision for even having a show. And that was my vision for even asking Andre, only knowing him a few months, to even, like, let's start this show. Like, let's do it. We got a lot to say. We got a lot to share. We've triumphed a lot, being Black and gay in the military. And, so I think that, we'll be around for a while and continue to share with y'all. Just know that we're going through it too. And that's, to be real, that's why I needed a break, and we take a break to also process and go through these things. So we make sure that we're not up here, being hypocrites about what we're talking about. We're actually living it and applying it.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon couldn't have said it any better. So on that note, I mean, that concludes our show. This was just a regular pop-up. Once again, thank you to Starsha so much. We thank
you, Starsha.
We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. And don't be surprised if we ask you to come back, girl. Okay, because we may ask you on another pop. So, but yeah, and for those of you that are watching, we may ask one of you if you would like to come on. And if you do, and you do decide that you want to come on, me or Brandon will send you the link to access StreamYard. So once again, shout out to StreamYard for providing this amazing background and amazing camera view for us. And what will happen is you'll go backstage, only Brandon will see you. And then when you're ready to go on, Brandon will bring you on. That's exactly how we did Starsha. So don't be nervous when you click on the link and then you think you're on live. You are not on live yet until Brandon brings you on. You'll be backstage. So, but yeah, once again, please like, comment, and share. We thank you for watching. And do you have any last words before we go?
I don't. Grace and peace to everyone. That's all. See y'all next time. See y'all Sunday.
See y'all Sunday, and be ready for coping with hardships.
Coping with hardships.
We'll talk to y'all Sunday.
Peace.